the PDQ Live team with Jordan, Tara, JJ, Jake, Chase, me. Also featuring Sad Mall Santa. It's PDQ Live.
Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. I'm here with Tara and super mega guest star Brock. If you've been enjoying any blog content recently, that's your guy. He's been crushing it.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. So he's here to make sure that we don't screw up his content too bad.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
And he's also here to show the greatest background ever created at PDQ. There you go.
That is
right. That's the true showcase here.
That is a nice
Look
one.
at that.
Little Christmas gift for the viewers.
It's so pretty.
So we were discussing basically building out updating schedules, and I have done this quite often the last 6 years.
A couple times.
You're pretty new, and you said, let me do it. And you want to do it. You ran with it. You crushed it. And so now the way we're going to approach this is you're going to teach me how to build a schedule.
Okay, well, let's just back up a second. Let's pump the brakes here. Let's define crushing it. That's being generous.
I witnessed the whole thing. Crushed.
No. Okay, so Brock's article is genius, actually. We're gonna link it, right, Kelly? It's a great article.
Absolutely.
So, all I did was follow Brock's article. I read it 75 times, and I did want to set it up myself, right? You offered to help multiple times, but I'm like, no, Jordan. I want to do it myself.
See, everyone knows you're lying because I'm never going to offer to help.
Right, that's right.
Hey, I'm just glad to know that, it takes less than 100 times for people to understand what I'm trying to write.
That's right. Actually, I really tried not to read it at all because I like to do that. I'm that person.
You're learning the product still.
Exactly. I want to just see if I can just fumble my way through. I'm that person. I like to just play around. But I did do it, and I did have Jordan look at it several times. That's true, right?
Absolutely.
I would bother you as little as I could.
And I have forgotten everything for this webcast. So teach me. Teach
totally.
me.
Okay.
Teach me what to do.
Okay, I'll teach you what to do. But I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
So I did it. I'm going to say I did it the hard way. Because even when I set it up, you said, yeah, that'll work, but let me show you how to do it even faster and easier, right?
Yeah, so the hard way is a caveat. I don't know, because I tend to do things in broad strokes, minimal, and then just make it work within that concept. You like to account for every single outlier.
Yes, well, I would provide you with instances.
I'm not going to say the hard way. I'm going to say you're far more thorough than I would have been, just because I'll go basic and leave it. You are very, but what about this scenario I never even thought of?
Well, because I had these scenarios happen. These actually happen, and I go, well, I want to have this use case. So
Right, well, let's do it.
Okay, let's
where
start
do I
from the very beginning. Okay, so we actually want to pose this question to start. So Brock and I talked about this. So we want to know what the viewers are doing. What are your patching schedules and your frequency? Are you scheduling them? Do you do it on Mondays, Tuesdays, during the day, at night? Are you using these schedules? So first of all, please let us know in the comments as we start, right? We want to know how you're using them.
Yeah, we want to read that over. We want to see, everybody's organization is different. You're going to have unique users, unique equipment. What day of the week works best for you? What time of the day do you do your patching after hours? Because even in the article I say in there, there's no one patching schedule that's going to fit every organization's needs. So you're just going to have to customize it once you get to know your organization well enough.
Yeah. Well, and do you have a different patching schedule? I hope you do, for application updates versus Windows updates. Okay, so continue talking. Lex's way, middle of the day, middle of the week, and during the day.
He called it full contact IT.
Okay, good.
Whenever it crosses his mind he needs to do something, he just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and see, so I come from a broadcast background, and that just would not fly. No, that's going to take you right off the air, so we can't do that. But okay, ready?
Now I'm ready
Jordan,
to learn.
Okay, Jordan, we want to create a patching group.
A patching group?
Yes, start there. Let's start there.
All right, so this is either like a lab or a pilot program, just machines?
Yeah, so I want to talk about quickly, because I'm an Active Directory gal. I would normally make everything in Active Directory, right? I like a clean Active Directory. So I would start there, but we're not going to, right? We're going to make this elsewhere.
This is one where any way that gets it into a system that works for you is fine. I'm trying not to grab any that will make JJ panic here.
Okay.
So I'm just creating a static collection, which I don't use often. I do
Okay.
dynamic most of the time, but if I know these 4 machines are where I do my testing, I want that just in a static collection. It can work by AD if your OU works in such a way where your lab has their own OU. But if you're grabbing from every department to make sure you get a broad spectrum with your lab, that might not work so well. You can also do a dynamic collection based on like a security group that you can assign to the computer.
Okay.
So there's lots of different ways that you can grab the list of these are my lab machines. I'm just going to do a static collection.
So this is a pilot group because we're going to break a bunch of crap. So these are our careful machines, yes?
Yeah, these are the ones where there's going to be no wait.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's all right. So I have my static list of lab machines. So these are the ones we're doing the testing. Where do we go next?
Okay. So we made, actually, we're not going to do dynamic. We're going to do static. Okay. Do we have Windows updates downloaded?
Let's check deploy.
Okay, let's do it.
We don't. So that next step is we're doing Windows updates.
Yeah, let's start with Windows updates. So, because we're going to do Windows updates, we're going to do application updates. So let's go do Windows 11. Let's find the cumulative updates. Make sure we have them downloaded.
Windows 11. Okay. Kelly's running over here. That's
Kelly's
never a
running
good
over here
sign.
because my microphone was reached over to Matt. Oh, look, I did it. I don't need Kelly. I'm my own audio technician now.
All right. So I did Windows 11 22H2.
Okay.
So depending on the software, so Chrome is Chrome. That's going to be, you just need to download that twice. Once for your lab, once for your production.
Because?
Well, just because they're on different acceptance schedules on the new update.
Okay.
For Windows updates, there's a lot of variation on what can happen on that one. But a lot of the work for that one on with deploy or not is done on our side.
Okay.
With the properties on just the conditions.
Okay.
Not on the overall, but for each step. So if you go to the conditions, you see we're looking at a specific registry key to make sure that Windows update works on that specific. So if you're using it for Windows updates, it depends on your environment, on what you're going to use. You're going to have to fine tune that, but there's going to have to be multiple Windows 10 just because each update is its own. In our case, we're just doing Windows 11 because, boy, I hope I grabbed Windows 11 in one of our labs.
That's okay if you didn't.
Specify that.
We're doing it live, my
Okay.
friend. Doing
All
it
right.
live.
I'm still learning. All right, so we have downloaded our Windows update.
Okay. Okay, now let's do, just while we're here, because we're here, should we do an application one?
An application.
Look, just download one. So one that's going to need an update. Oh, we have
So
one.
I've done these. So I was
Okay.
kind of watching the new packages that came out over the
Okay.
week, and all of these. I guess if we go to our package library and look at updates, we have none pending approval, which means my approval schedule was not great.
Okay. So we need one application that is going to be immediate, and we need one that's going to be on a 7-day delay, right? So we need to download 2 different ones, right?
So we'll just say Chrome just because it's easy.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's not there because I have the filter on still. There it is. Those are the 3 that are pending update.
Okay.
Now I learned that the auto download approvals works with that filter up there. Actually, I've learned something for reals.
You learned something? Okay, cool. I like
That
it.
makes 2 of us. I didn't know that either.
I think it's pretty fantastic.
Can you back up, though? Because I missed kind of what you learned. Will you just go over that again really quick?
Oh, yeah. So in package library,
Okay.
when you have your updates, these are ones
Yeah.
pending approvals.
Yeah.
Depending on the filter up here, we'll filter out things that are pending approvals. That's why it looks
Oh,
blank.
okay. I missed that. Okay, thank you.
Hopefully, you don't have so many pending approval that that becomes necessary to filter, but it works there, which is nice.
Okay, so now let's go over why we did it twice.
Okay. I'm with you. Why did we do it twice?
Yes, because you're going to show us because we want to do our test
Oh,
environment.
actually, tell me. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically for the update schedule is what we're saying.
Yes.
I'm going to show you. I told you I forgot everything.
Oh, okay. You're going to show us because we're going to download it twice because in our pilot group, we want it to be immediate. So instead of that auto download setting, you're going to uncheck that right there and we're going to make it immediate. So we don't care if it's going to break a bunch of stuff because these are lab machines and or users who aren't going to rip our face off, right?
Okay, so we have one where we ignore our schedule update. And so this allows us to do an immediate update on our lab, and then we have a 7-day window before, or whatever you set on the global for the regular one.
Yep.
Which is you're getting from the default settings and deploy, right?
Yeah, so control, comma. What settings am I looking at here? Is it
Sorry, I was listening to Brock. I'm sorry. Tell me where you went. Sorry.
I
That's
opened
the
up
auto download setting, I believe.
the auto download.
Oh,
there we go.
there you
Yeah,
go.
so that setting there. So that's the default. I think with the install 7 is the default, but you can change it per package, which we've done here for test. All right, so now we have our test one. I named it test. Is that acceptable? Or
Yeah, I was just going to say, name it something that we don't lose because I'm slow.
okay.
Okay, test. Okay, now we got to put those together, right? We got to do our membership.
Membership. What do you mean?
Well, we got to do our filter so we can say, hey, if you belong here, take this update.
Our collections.
Yes.
A collection. Oh, so we basically want to point out test so it looks at the collection. Okay. Is that going to be part of a schedule?
Yes,
or?
we're going to make a schedule.
Okay. So
So this is what I learned during the week. If you generate this from the package, it will attach the package automatically. Remember, I was so excited about that?
I do remember.
Let's show that.
All right. So I'm going to go choose targets. We're going to go inventory collection. We're just going to use the one that I built. Okay. The first time you open up both products, this takes a long time.
Okay.
So this is my fault for not running it. It'll go faster in the future. Lab machines. Okay, so now test is looking at all the lab machines for the test package. So for trigger, this is an interesting one just because a lot of things like Windows updates, unless there's like a 0 day, is going to come in the second Tuesday, and you can kind of build your schedule around that. But for Chrome, they do a lot of patch Tuesday updates, but as we've seen, there's been 7 Chrome updates over the last couple weeks. 7's an exaggeration, but it's been a bad day for Chrome, or bad week for Chrome.
I blame Amazon Prime.
So how do we go about with the trigger so we can set it up so it runs often enough without being intrusive? Mind you, this is a lab, so you're not affecting production.
Right. So I'm just going to go crazy, right? Oh, sorry. Kelly's talking to me. Okay, so first thing I did is I hit once. I hit all of them, but let's...
So once?
Well, because I wanted to start it at a certain time, so I was paying attention to all of these little triggers, but you show me the best way, because I don't think I did it the best way.
All right, so we'll just do every day starting at whatever time works for you. I think 11 is probably a bit aggressive, but
Okay.
we'll do early in the morning, just in case.
Okay.
So if it comes in late at night, first thing in the morning, it will update.
Okay.
And run that one.
But so I want to point this out because, see, this is where I kind of brought in my use cases. I like that time frame only run during the following time. So if I do have, for me, like my on-air machines, I would check that and be really granular with when it runs to avoid those particular windows.
That's fine for production.
Yeah.
But we're in labs, so we don't need to. Right. Is there anything you want to add other than running every day at 6 a.m.?
No, not on that.
Okay.
Well, I would throw that heartbeat on there just in case you miss anything.
Okay.
I mean, this is your lab you're talking about, so you want to get that out as quickly as possible to get as much thorough testing as done, so you can know whether or not a patch is ready to go out to production or not.
Right. So heartbeat is incredibly powerful.
Heartbeat's just gonna go ahead.
I just think it's often misunderstood. Heartbeat doesn't mean it's just always going to go. Heartbeat will initiate every time a machine goes from an offline state to an online state in inventory. So if you go to deploy at 6 a.m. and one of your lab machines is turned off and inventory sees that, the next time it turns on, the next time inventory checks in, Heartbeat will kick off because it didn't deploy with the regular one. But if the machine is on and it just failed, Heartbeat's never going to kick off. It's only when the machine goes from an offline state to an online state that will kick off. But it is a way to make sure... Like remote machines or anything like that, when they come online, it will automatically update them.
Okay, so no.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to remember is that it's not going to, continually push out this package to these computers over and over again. Once it's deployed, it's just going to stop kicking off to that computer until the next update is available. So, you're only going to really hit these computers once with that update.
As long as you have that little check mark, right? Stop deploying once it kicks in.
Do we have a question that might tie into the current window we have open?
I'm sorry, which window was that you have open?
We might. I saw it come into the comments.
Well, it depends. Seriously, which question? Because I was back here doing
the question about how do I
others.
stop it from deploying after it's been successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on one second.
There was one. There
Okay,
was one.
let's do a question.
Oh, that's a great time for it.
No, right? How can you prioritize scheduled deployments? Say you have 5 schedules.
Not
That's
that
the
one,
wrong question?
but-
Okay,
no,
hang on.
That was a Marcel question.
Hang on.
Not like that one either.
Well,
We'll just answer it right now.
so there was a question. Someone says, how do I stop a schedule from deploying after it's been successful?
Yep, right there.
And that's just a checkbox right here. Stop deploying here. I'm actually going to use the highlighter that I didn't turn on just to make Adria angry.
We'll use our imagination.
So stop deploying targets once it's successful. So this will, once it was successfully deployed, it will stop deploying, period. If it is an auto download package like Google Chrome, the next time there's an update, it'll clear out that history and it will deploy again.
Okay.
Once it's successful, it should stop going to those machines.
Hey, I've got that question up.
Hey, all right, let's see that question.
I think. Is this the one you were talking about? I have a 30-minute scheduled deployment that looks at an initial computer OU through inventory. How do I prevent PDQ from deploying again to the same machine? David B.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
Fantastic question, David.
David, good. There you go. There's your
So
answer, David.
that checkbox there, that's for if you have an automatic schedule, then next time the new version comes out that we update will go there. If it's a own custom package, you'll have to clear out the history yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
if you have the
interesting.
target history, you can delete it from here manually, or you can clear that out with the command line tools with the inventory.
But only on the custom one.
Yeah, only on the custom one. So if it's automatic one, next time we update, that'll update as well. If it's one that you've custom built, you just need to keep an eye on the target history. If you update that package yourself, make sure the target history here is cleared out and it should update.
Okay, cool. And and right below that button is it'll fail out after so many attempts. So I like that button as well.
You like that one? So
I
start
do.
deploying a target fails, we'll say, 3 times?
I like that. I mean,
Okay.
although to tell you the truth, I've not seen our product fail. It's phenomenal. Honestly.
I just like to believe that it's going to work. I like positive thoughts when going into my updates.
Well, I don't know if you've used a lot of other products, but other products fail a lot. But ours doesn't.
All right, so then we have the offline settings where
Yep.
we have the offline targets put in the retry queue. If you're using the heartbeats, no
Right.
need. Retry is kind of obsolete with when you have the heartbeat, but if you use the retry queue, you can change that setting there. And then you can override some of the offline settings for the specific package on the schedule here if you want,
Okay.
which I don't think I've do it a lot, but that's pretty much everything
Okay.
with the schedule. I guess I should name it.
You might. Yeah, why not? Test.
We're naming it test.
Yeah, we got to start. It's got to be the same naming convention.
Well,
What are
you want to get specific
what
so
are
you know what the schedule is
Neanderthal?
doing.
Come on.
I'm just going to go
Yes.
test because you told me
What?
to.
Oh
There's
my-
no way in the future that's going to have a problem.
Jordan!
That's for sure.
You're killing me.
You know, I remember when I was writing this article that somebody had recommended, structuring out your packages into your different groups so you're not like constantly confusing them, having that folder structure over there and put in all of your test packages in one folder and your production packages in another, just to kind of clean up your console there. But
Jordan doesn't care. Hi, Jordan.
But keeping things clean?
Actually, it would drive me absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mine would need to be super clean.
All right, still in from the chat again. Someone asked, when would you use the retry queue? I honestly wouldn't. I think the only reason it's still in the product is because it's pulling it out at this point is a large undertaking. But I would use Heartbeat pretty much 100% of the time over the retry queue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, actually, Jordan, it was very interesting to hear Jordan's take on the Heartbeat. You were very knowledgeable, and I learned a lot from you about that. It was interesting.
So now we've got our schedule. So now anytime Chrome updates, that schedule is going to kick off. It's going to run to those same 4 machines, or if we add to we did a static collection. All right, so we have our test done.
Okay.
All right, so now do we have to do anything different outside of test, or what's the next step in
Well,
our
I mean,
process?
in theory, we would need to make a production group,
Production.
right?
So that's why you had me download this one here.
Yes.
So you
'cause-
just want to do another schedule here?
Yes. Because these are the people that may get us fired. Right?
All right, so for this schedule, when it comes to targets, we saw some things where you can build like a custom dynamic collection, everything. I like to just use the built-in. So if we go inventory collections, if the product is downloaded from us, we have collections ready to go.
We could just pick computers that have Chrome, right?
Yeah, so
For
collection
this,
library,
yeah.
application, browsers, Chrome, and then...
Just do not installed and old. Do we do not installed too, or?
Well, not everyone wants Chrome or needs Chrome.
Oh, okay,
I'm
so
just going to assume that
Okay.
if they don't have it, it's because they don't want it. If they
gotcha.
want it, they can open up a ticket. So we're just going to go old. So instead of building a new collection, reinventing the wheel, that collection's done for us. I'm just going to point to Chrome old.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So this has the 7 days we had by default, or if you change that on the global. So basically, after Chrome has been out for 7 days, then it's update. So in the situation of where we had the 0 day with Chrome,
Yeah.
and then they had fix for the fix, and then I think there's a third one. Your 7 day schedule is going to reset every time there's a new build. So
Yes.
if a new one comes out before then, it's just going to go on hold until the 7 days of the latest build. So in this case, recently with Chrome, that's maybe one where you want to go in and take a more of a manual look. Just in case, because there's been 3
Yeah.
updates there. you just have another 7 days past that, but there is a 0 day. So that's one, in a situation like that, you might want to do a bit more hands-on instead of the automation. But in most cases, 7 days is just fine.
Well, wouldn't I just, if once I tested on my pilot group, couldn't I just go back to my pilot collection and then change my target to all my production machines once I know that it's okay? Couldn't I just change my target?
You can just do a deploy once where you can send to the collection you want. Yeah, so there's ways around it, especially for the 0 day. But that's just a kind of for a heads up. If you have it set to 7 days and it's been past 7 days, I would check to see if there's been multiple updates for some reason.
Okay. So once I schedule that, I really don't need to touch it except for what you just said in case of emergency.
But we're back to triggers. So instead of doing every day at 6 a.m., since this is production, how do we want to approach this one?
So, well, this is just Chrome. So I like to do this. It's Chrome. Who cares? We could do this end of day. Let's do 3 p.m. on a Tuesday.
So you just want to do specific days of the week, so not every day?
No, I don't. Well, I mean, we could. It's Chrome. Who cares, right? Let's do 3 days a week.
So because this is Chrome and it's a quick install, you're less concerned about that one.
Yeah.
So
but maybe let's have someone be there.
Every day after hours, you said?
No, let's do 3 p.m.
3 p.m.?
I've still got some help desk people around just in case someone's freaking out.
All right, so that way if something breaks right away.
Yeah, it probably doesn't require a restart.
Well, it's worth noting with Chrome, once it updates, if Chrome's open, it's still not going to update on the user until they restart Chrome. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
So last time we didn't cover this ending.
Yes.
What would we use this for?
I actually don't know because we didn't talk about it. Tell me, Jordan. Teach me.
So if this is something that's not for long term or you want an end to your schedule, you can set a end date preemptively so you don't, because set it forget it's kind of the value of PDQ. Ending is kind of a way of I want to forget it, but I don't want it to install past a certain point. You can set a time where the schedule just terminates.
Okay. Cool. Love it.
All right. Do we need to change any other settings or? That check mark you had us do last time, it kept that setting between schedules.
I don't think so.
All right, I'm going to name this for Reals Chrome.
For Realsy this time.
All right, and that's pretty much it. So you hit the lab right away.
Okay. Right.
And then 7 days later. So if, let's say in your lab, you find a problem with this Chrome, is that something where, what do I do with, I guess, the other schedule to stop it from going live? If you find out this update breaks something, do I temporarily disable the schedule? Okay, so you just come in and right click there. There's got to be a
disable schedule.
Was it there?
That's right there.
Missed it?
Right there.
There it is. Disable schedule.
Bam,
okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's not a permanent solution, but if there is something where you've got a gotcha, this is a good place to disable it, so you're not going to update your production with a failed product.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So those two are down. So should we do Windows updates?
You want to do the same thing with Windows updates?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing we're going to be a little more careful with that one.
Well, there's a lot that goes in Windows. First of all,
do you want to do Windows updates or do you want to take a couple questions?
Let's take some questions.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's take a couple.
Oh, wow. Hello. Lots of comments.
How can you prioritize scheduled deployments? Say you have 5 schedules to run when a computer shows up on the network, but you need those schedules to run in a certain order, aka priority. Marcel L.
So I know once it's deploying, you can right-click on certain machines and say, run this one instead. As far as this one, if you know the order they have to run, you might just want to stagger your schedule in such a way that it follows the order. But if you have multiple schedules, you might run into some issues there. But I don't know of a way within the schedule to say this one takes priority over the other. It's just it kicks off whenever the trigger you set.
You can't put steps in between to prior, huh?
Well, not for multiple schedules. We're saying if multiple schedules are going. So the best way for that I can think of is to stagger your schedules and give priority or the first place to the one that is most important. I can't think of a way within it to say this schedule always takes priority once the deployment starts.
You know, if something's being deployed, or if multiple things are being deployed kind of in a similar time frame, what about the option of nested packages? You know, and then just putting that on a schedule, because that would,
what Adam just said.
install in a specific order.
Okay, yeah. So instead of just saying multiple schedules, just have schedule for one package. That package has a whole bunch of nested, and then that will install in the order that you have in there. That would work. I'd make sure within your nested package or for each package you have your targets on point, so you don't get any bleed over. You don't over install or on wrong machines. But other than that, I mean, as long as that's dialed in, I think that'd be a fantastic solution.
All right. Ready for another question?
Let's do it.
All right. How can I create a report of all the users with associated computer names, even when the users are not currently logged in?
So inventory does not keep a history, which is what makes that one a little bit difficult. So that's whatever's logged in. So if someone logs out and you haven't scanned, it's still going to show that user. But once it scans or offline, it's going to show there. There is a built-in PowerShell scanner that will scan for login events. So that's not going to build a report, but you can build a scanner of who is logged in and when. You might be able to build a report based off of that PowerShell table once it's done. Just going to take some steps. So I think that one is there as part of our Git. Let's find out. Since we've been talking about Chrome, let's see if I can open Chrome. So it's going to take a while. So there's a pre-built Git of a lot of different scanners. One of those scanners does scan in. It won't just be the last user to log in, period, but every user that is logged in, their latest login event within a certain time frame. So that will pull users that have logged in, put it into a table in inventory, and so you just have to build a report based off that PowerShell table. It's going to take a lot of work. Apparently, Chrome is new.
Should we email him? Should we have him email us and you can send it to him?
Oh, if you want to build it out, yeah.
Yeah, because we got to get on to our other sections we haven't covered yet. Let's do that.
You don't trust me to just fly through this?
Well, I mean, you can, but we got other stuff to get to at the end.
All right. I'll see if I can keep it going on the side while we're running.
Okay. What's the next question, Kelly?
All right, let's do another question, then we'll let you get to your other stuff. Keep a specific app closed during deployment. Example, app that requires Outlook to be closed during updates. Step 1, message user. 2, kill Outlook. 3, 67.93% ignore the message. Open Outlook. Ray.
I feel step 3.
I really like step 2.
Yeah, so I like how Outlook example because Outlook is aggressive. So you are right. You can kill up, but there's no guarantee, especially with Outlook, that's not coming back up. Especially if someone's on the machine. If Outlook closes down, everyone hates email until they don't have access to it, and then it's pure panic.
That's right.
I saw someone in the chat say rename, like kill the process, rename outlook.exe to outlook.txt, and then as a post step, switch it back to .exe. That would work. That's an aggressive solution.
That's a creative
That's really
solution.
clever.
But as far as, I mean, you can kill it with a pre-step, no problem. Keeping it dead is a bit more complex. Outside of renaming it, you would have to wrap the whole thing in PowerShell with a try catch. Basically, it says anytime this process shows up, kill it again. But even then, you can't guarantee that when it pops up for a second or two, that's not the exact wrong time. So I don't know if there's a good one for that other than, I mean, the renaming would work, but that's for you to clear with your executives. It's
an after hours thing to me.
All right, go ahead, get on with your others, and we'll take the last 2 questions at the end.
Can you do it? You want to continue?
Well, I just found the link up here if we want to show it.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we show the monitor?
This one. Not bad.
Right, yeah. So this one here is just in the PDQ, the PowerShell scanners. It's the one called user last log on. The scanner's built for you. I think you can modify how long of a history it keeps, but that will give you a table with the data you're looking for, and then just use a report. When you're building a report, it's just going to be under, I believe, the name of the scanner here, last log on.
Okay.
And name that one, and you can grab all the data there for the report from there.
And this is Colby.
Well, Colby wrote the scanner.
Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Okay, there you go. Okay, so we're getting close. So, Jordan, we're not going to be able to go over the Windows update, but they're just going to follow the exact same procedure you already showed.
So we were talking about Windows updates,
right?
Yeah, we were talking about Windows updates where
Yes.
specifically those are the second Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
So you can get a far more granular at that schedule there, just because you know when it's coming out. If it comes out a time different than the second Tuesday of the month, there's a 0 day, and a lot of your testing, while still important, needs to be rushed because if they break their schedule for Windows updates, something's really, really at risk.
Yes.
So keep an eye for that. But for that one, you can build a schedule for the Windows updates specifically for the second Tuesday or, 3 days after the second Tuesday and just be a bit more accurate on that one. It's just knowing which one to apply. Because if your environment is all just one, like Windows 11, 21H2 or 22H2 works for your entire environment, congratulations, you are awesome.
Right, you're lucky. Yeah.
But for most of it, that's going to be there's a lot to it. You can download all of the Windows updates and have it in one. We were talking about nested packages earlier, just because the filtering within the package itself will work for the machine, will bypass, so it won't take too many resources. But every environment's unique. Everyone's got a lot of 20 ways to use. So Windows updates involves a lot more hands-on, but the schedule can be far more locked in.
But you want to start with a pilot group, obviously. Yeah. You want to be super careful and then move on. And those time triggers, I thought those were very cool for Windows updates.
The time triggers?
Yeah, you can segment them and do it only during this time, stop at this time. So in my previous life, that would have been extraordinarily helpful for production machines.
You don't like updating Windows just whenever?
Windows updates broke absolutely everything. And I can think of 3 or 4 experiences that would have been very helpful to say from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. only run these updates. So, I definitely would have used those time triggers.
Yeah. All right. So another part, that's kind of your default. You got your groups. This is the way I would have handled it. You got your 2 broad groups, broad strokes with it. So you bring in a whole bunch of nightmare scenarios.
Yes.
I have this machine that needs to have this setting change after certain installs.
Yes.
So for that one, I can't think of a better way than to build basically a third version of software like a Windows Updates, where you can put like a post step. In your case, your example was there's audio drivers that changed every time Windows update.
Every Windows update, it would reset we had an advanced sound card for these on-air machines, and every freaking Windows update, it would set the input device back to the one just in the tower, and they couldn't go on air. And I was like, ugh! So I eventually just suspended Windows updates and did them by hand. So yes, tell us your genius solution.
Well, I don't know if it's a genius solution, but whatever the PowerShell is for changing the default audio device, which I'm sure exists. You could write PowerShell as a post step where whenever Windows Update goes, it goes through and then we'll change those back to whatever one you want to keep it at. But where that post step will run, because that will keep through updates of the software of the package, that is one where you're going to want to have a third instead of just 2. Like, so if you have something, a one-off like that, where there's something particular, everyone's got their finicky machines, their unicorns. Yeah. If there's something where you have to go and take steps that far, even if it's not pleasant, you can have it on the same schedule. Yeah. As the regular updates, you're just going to want to have another package that has that step that's pointed directly at those machines that you know are problem machines.
Yeah, you just want to capture the exact environment that exists before the Windows updates and say, go back there. Okay. Right. Love it.
Okay.
There's a lot of great things you can do with those post-deployment steps. I mean, you got applications that update and that they rearrange desktop icons and stuff like that, taskbar icons. And, being able to add a post-deployment step and still have that package remain as an auto-download package, is really, really beneficial that people should be taking advantage of.
All right. Do we have other questions?
We do have a couple questions in the queue. Right. Hey, guys, how do you handle press any key inside a CMD, high res?
That is a difficult one. So by default, you're going to have to change your actual deployment to do run as logged on user in that case, or logged on user interactive. And then there's a couple of options in that for the any key. You either have to, in the middle of that step, have PowerShell that can grab that one. There's like a UI automation plugin you can do, or you can hit tab if you know a certain number of times it pops up, or it'll go to it and have it manually hit enter with a send key. So there's some workarounds with send keys and everything, but if that's going to pop up and it does require, like there's no way to silently move past that, you either have to be able to do a send key to that specific window to run it and run it as an interactive session, or in that case, that's just, it's hard to automate something where you can't move past that silently.
All right, next question. I may be guilty of set it and forget it with auto-downloaded packages. Is there a way to be notified if a product goes end of life and no more updates will be available? Sincerely, Myth Sanders Ghost.
We were going to get to reports and we didn't. We should do that one, huh? Maybe we can figure out how to automate that.
Even that one, for that one specifically, end of life for software. If it goes end of life, we'll set up updating the library, but we don't really have an announcement for that one to kind of alert. So I don't know of a way within our products to say, hey, this product is end of life. If there's one where the product's still going, but we're going to stop updating, we will write about that. We'll put like a banner on the product, say, hey, we're not updating, and then click here to find out why. That's very rare.
That sounds like support email.
It is rare. We did that with, I think, Flash, and
And there was
IE. I don't
one
know.
other that kept on failing the antivirus test.
I think you should email support
yeah.
at PDQ and see what they say. See if there's a
But
way they can alert you.
Even then, for NLFS software, that's just we're going to stop getting those updates in, so we're going to stop updating, but we're not going to alert for that one. So I don't know of a way within our product to track that.
All right, final question we have. If I set a schedule and update to install on Heartbeat, but only between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., would it update the machine that logged on at 8 a.m.? Jason C.
So this is actually, I've been stumped. So I know for the regular schedules between that time, but I don't know if Heartbeat overrides that or if it adheres to that rule.
I think the answer is no, because that schedule is only set to run from 8 to 3. So, or what 10 to 3? So at 10 a.m. it will.
Well, whatever the
right?
time frame is, normally yes, but normally 10 to 3, so it goes to run, it's offline, it stops.
Yeah.
And then it goes into where Heartbeat kicks off. Wiz go online. I don't know if it follows the same parameters or not.
The Heartbeat's just going to say, hey, wake up, dummy. At 10 a.m., it's going to run it.
I feel like you're doing that based on assumption without actually testing it. Like
That's absolutely true.
I feel like that's true as well, but I can't guarantee that. That's something I'd have to test to
Where's
find
Marcel?
out.
Marcel, is it true?
Yeah, so that's when I'd have to test. I can do a test this week, and then next week's webcast I'll give a shout out on my results for that one. But I don't know how Heartbeat's going to behave in that scenario. I just don't have a great answer for that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, did it see that this computer turned on, or was it just already on when the parameters were?
But I am curious now.
Yeah, like who's going to win, Heartbeat or
Yeah,
schedule?
so am I.
I will
This
test
is a
that and give you an answer.
This is a
next
good
week.
transition.
Go ahead.
Yeah, into stay tuned for next Thursday.
No, next Thursday's
Fun show
party
for you.
time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also a little bit of tech because
That was JJ saying wrap it up.
our findings.
Yeah, so I'm excited. So next week we're having a kind of a fun event for where we're going to get some user interaction, and I will come in with an answer to that question by then because I am genuinely curious.
You're going to go find out right now.
I have to.
I know, I love it.
That is,
I love that you are.
It never even crossed my mind to test it, so I'm excited to find out. All right. Do we have any more questions or?
Yeah, I want to know what game we're playing next week.
Okay, well, this is something that we're trying that's a little different than what we've done in previous years. We're going to be playing some games that involve the viewers. Okay, so we'll be doing some Jackbox games and allowing the viewers to basically vote on the answer. So, just going to have a little bit of fun. So plan your day, people. Take 30 minutes out of your day, make it you time, and come hang out with us next week. Should be fun.
All right.
It will be.
Now I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I got to learn a lot from this. Thanks to Tara's expert tutelage. Thanks for Brock to keeping us on task, even if he chose not to walk in on his own volition. For PDQ, I'm Jordan.
I'm Tara.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Jason C. and Ray, winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for being here. Please do us a favor, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure to join us for some fun and frivolity next week. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.